Sagittarius. You wake up every day and put on a mask. Not a physical mask, but a mask of eternal optimism so heavy you can't even remember what it's like to breathe without it. You get out of bed exhausted, not because you slept poorly, but because you know you'll have to spend the entire day pretending to be a version of yourself that is unbothered, free, and constantly happy, a version that doesn't match the heaviness you truly feel inside. And this fatigue you carry isn't laziness. It's not a lack of vitamins. It's not just the stress of constant movement. It's the devastating weight of living a life that avoids your own emotional depth. Your exhaustion is your soul's silent cry, asking you to stop running and start feeling. It's your Sagittarius spirit, born to seek truth, rebelling against the constant performance of being fine that you force yourself to maintain. You're exhausted from being the visionary for everyone else. Exhausted from being the source of laughter and lightness for others when you are secretly drowning in your own questions. Exhausted from lifting the spirits of those around you while your own inner fire is flickering out. This fatigue has intensified in a way that scares you. It's not just being physically tired from your adventures. It's an exhaustion that penetrates to the bone, making you question whether your philosophy of everything happens for a reason is enough to sustain you anymore. It's as if you're carrying an invisible backpack that grows heavier with each day, with each forced joke. With each moment, you hide your sadness behind a facade of breezy detachment. You've been pretending to be the fun friend for so long that you've almost forgotten what it's like to be the human friend. You've been the wise teacher for so many people who rely on your perspective to solve their problems. You've pointed the arrow of hope for so many that your own sense of direction has become just a distant echo. And now you find yourself in a position where you no longer recognize who you are without the constant motion, without the mask of the jester, without the constant need to prove you are free and unburdened. The fatigue you feel is sacred, Sagittarius. It's your internal warning system working perfectly, warning you that you are living unsustainably. It's telling you that you've reached the limit of toxic positivity, that you can no longer bear the burden of always being the one who sees the silver lining, always the one who keeps the mood light, always the one who expands others' horizons, while you feel trapped within your own mind. There's something profoundly violent about the way you've been treating your own shadows. You run from them, filling your schedule with distractions, noise, and plans, diminishing your own pain so others don't feel uncomfortable. And then you blame yourself for being exhausted, as if needing to rest or feel sad were a weakness. As if you should be able to continue indefinitely at this devastating pace of emotional evasion disguised as freedom. The truth you've been reluctant to accept is that this fatigue is a sign you've lost touch with your true truth. True Sagittarians don't get tired of exploring. They get tired of running away. They don't get exhausted seeking wisdom. They get exhausted forcing wisdom when they feel lost. They don't get exhausted having faith. They get exhausted performing faith when they are full of doubt. You're tired because you've been living an edited, socially acceptable, good vibes only version of who you really are. A version that keeps everyone entertained, that brings the party, that maintains the peace through humor, but that slowly kills you inside. A version that makes you feel admired for your spirit while feeling completely misunderstood for your soul. For years, you confused being entertaining with being loved. You confused being low maintenance with being valued. You confused running away from problems with solving them. And now you find yourself in a position where your entire identity is built on how resilient you are, how quickly you bounce back, and how little you let things affect you. But where are you in this equation? Where is your grief, your fear, your need for stillness? The fatigue you carry has layers. On the surface, it's the physical exhaustion of always trying to be everywhere at once. Deeper, it's the emotional exhaustion of never being allowed to be negative or heavy. And deep down, it's the spiritual exhaustion of being disconnected from your authentic vulnerability. For Sagittarians born between November 22nd and December 1st, this fatigue is related to the burden of being the guru, the one who must always have the answer and the moral high ground. For those born between December 2nd and December 11th, exhaustion comes from a restless need to act, to fight for others, and to never show weakness and Aries undertone. For those born between December 12th and December 21st, fatigue is the result of a pride that refuses to let anyone see you sweat or suffer a Leo undertone. Your body is speaking to you through this fatigue. Your emotions are screaming through this exhaustion. Your soul is begging you through this lack of energy to stop living for the next adventure and start living for the present reality. But you've been interpreting all these signals as signs that you just need a new trip, a new project, or a new distraction. Sagittarius. I need to ask a question that may hurt, but it's necessary. How long has it been since you allowed yourself to be sad without making a joke about it? How long has it been since you admitted, even to yourself, that you don't have all the answers? That you're tired of pretending to be the wildest spirit in the room? I know it's hard to admit because you've been conditioned to believe that your sadness is a buzzkill, that your seriousness bores people, that your weariness contradicts your optimistic nature. But none of this is true. Your humanity doesn't diminish your wisdom. It makes it grounded, reachable, and real. If you recognize this fatigue in your own life, if you feel like you've been running a marathon with a smile glued to your face, leave a comment now saying, "I'm tired of pretending I'm always happy when inside I'm hurting." It's not just a comment. It's a declaration of self-honesty. It's the first step towards stopping the run and starting to build a home within yourself. And when you write this, you're giving other Sagittarians permission to admit their own exhaustion, their own need to stop being the fun one and start being real. Your courage in acknowledging your limits may be exactly what someone needs to see today to stop bypassing their own emotions right now. Your honesty is a gift to you and to those who read it. The last 3 days of November carry a specific energy of grounding for you. Sagittarius, it's no coincidence that you're feeling this fatigue intensify now. It's not bad luck or bad timing. It's the universe preparing you for a fundamental shift in how you process your life, how you relate to your own truth, and how you honor your need for rest. These final 3 days of the month will act as a portal of renewal for your authentic spirit. But to access this renewal, you'll need to do something you've long avoided. Stop. Literally, stop moving. Stop planning the next thing. Stop scrolling for inspiration. Stop pretending you're unbothered. And in the stillness that will emerge when you finally stop running, you'll hear something that's been trying to reach you for months. The voice of your own intuition. The answer these days bring isn't about how to find a new destination. It's about how to be okay, right where you are. The answer is about reconnecting with your real feelings, not the philosophical concepts you use to explain them away. It's about meeting the version of you that exists when the party is over and the lights go out. During these 3 days, you will experience moments of clarity about where you have been scattering your energy. You will notice patterns where you use humor to deflect intimacy. You will recognize situations where you have performed happiness to keep others comfortable with their own misery. The fatigue you feel isn't permanent. It's not who you are. It's a result of how you've been fleeing, of the choices you've made to prioritize freedom over connection with your own heart. And when you start making different choices that honor your need for stillness instead of constant stimulation, you'll discover you have much more true vitality than you ever imagined. Sagittarius, your natural fire doesn't need constant fuel to burn. When you stop forcing the flames of excitement and allow your steady, glowing embers to exist, the feeling is completely different. Instead of burnout, you feel warmth. Instead of manic energy, you feel grounded purpose. Instead of a performance of wisdom, you feel a genuine connection to truth. In the last 3 days of November, you'll begin to understand that your fatigue has been a teacher. It's teaching you where you've been betraying your own boundaries. It's showing you where you've been saying yes to adventures you didn't want, just to avoid the fear of missing out. It's alerting you to relationships that consume your optimism without ever refilling your cup. The answer these days bring is also about setting boundaries you've never dared to set before. Boundaries with people who treat you as their personal entertainment system. Boundaries with friends who dump their problems on you because you always know what to say. Boundaries with your own impulse to run when things get hard. You'll discover that saying no to the noise automatically makes room for the silence you desperately need. That stopping being the life of the party allows you to be the life of your own existence. That honoring your sadness inspires others far more than pretending to be perpetually happy. The transformation these days bring isn't dramatic or instantaneous, it is quiet. You'll begin to make different decisions about how you spend your mental energy and your words. You'll begin to prioritize experiences that deepen your understanding rather than just widening your map. Your fatigue has been a sign that you were living out of alignment with your deepest need for truth. The last 3 days of November bring an opportunity for realignment. Back to the center of who you truly are. Back to your natural source of faith that doesn't require proof or performance. During these days, pay special attention to how you feel in silence versus in crowds. Notice where your energy scatters and where it gathers. Notice which conversations drain you and which ones actually feed your mind. This expanded awareness will be your compass for making more aligned choices from now on. Sagittarius, there's something few understand about your exhaustion. It comes not just from doing too much, but from understanding too much for other people. You've been conditioned to believe that your role in life is to be the arrow that points everyone else forward. That without your vision, your hope, your constant, "it will be okay," the people around you would fall into despair. But this is a responsibility that was never yours to bear. Each person has their own path to walk. When you take on the responsibility of being everyone's guru, you're inadvertently preventing them from finding their own answers. You're creating spiritual dependencies that serve neither you nor them. You are exhausting yourself trying to be the universe for people who need to learn to look at the stars themselves. The exhaustion you feel also carries a layer of frustration you may not have recognized yet. Frustration at always being the one who gets it. Frustration at never being allowed to just be messy. Frustration that people love your light but fear your fire. Frustration at having to carry the intellectual weight of conversations where you always give more insight than you receive. This frustration is valid and necessary. It's the fuel that will give you the courage to stop over-explaining and start just being. You'll also notice that some people around you may feel uncomfortable when you start becoming quieter and less fun. These reactions will show you who truly loves you for your soul versus who only values you for the good times you provide. It's an important, if sometimes painful, revelation. Some people may try to blame you when you start saying, "I'm not in the mood" more often. They may say you're becoming boring, that you've lost your spark, or that you're being difficult. These words will hurt because you've been conditioned to believe that being easygoing is your greatest virtue. But recognize these reactions for what they really are: attempts to keep you in the role of the court jester, because your seriousness threatens the escapism they used you for. The person who truly loves you will celebrate when you start prioritizing your rest. They'll understand that a grounded, rested, and honest Sagittarius is infinitely better company than a manic Sagittarius pretending everything is awesome. They'll support your need for solitude even when it means you aren't there to entertain them. During this transformation, you may experience moments of intense guilt. Guilt for not being the positive one. Guilt for canceling plans. Guilt for admitting that sometimes life just hurts. This guilt is social programming, not your inner truth. You were taught that your value lay in your ability to uplift, but that was never true. Your value lies simply in your existence, in your search for meaning, regardless of whether you are smiling or crying. It's also important to understand that your healing process will be observed by other Sagittarians around you. As you begin to live more authentically and drop the mask of toxic positivity, you'll be silently giving others permission to do the same. Your courage to stop performing happiness may be the catalyst someone close to you needs to question their own denial. Sagittarius, the universe is conspiring to restore your authentic fire, but you need to cooperate by stopping fighting your own fatigue and starting to listen to what it's trying to teach you. You need to stop blaming yourself for losing your spark and start investigating what in your life is dampening that spark. The answer isn't trying harder to be happy. It's living in a way that allows all emotions to exist. It's aligning your life with truth, not just optimism. In the coming months after these 3 transformative days in November, you'll look back and realize that your exhaustion was the best gift you could have received because it forced you to stop running. It forced you to look in the mirror and see the person behind the grin. You'll discover that when you stop living to entertain others, you automatically attract people who value you for your mind and heart. When you stop fixing everyone's outlook, you create space to focus on your own spiritual growth. When you stop being the fun one for everyone else, you allow yourself to find true joy. The weariness you feel today will turn to gratitude when you realize how it has guided you back home toward yourself, to your own truth, to a way of living that is honest rather than just pleasant. The last 3 days of November are just the beginning of your reconnection with the infinite wisdom that exists when you stop running from the present moment. Sagittarius, in the coming days, Be very kind to yourself. Allow yourself to be boring without guilt. Allow yourself to be quiet without apology. Allow yourself to be human without having to be a philosopher king. Your humanity doesn't diminish your spirit. It makes it deeper, richer, and more profound than any slogan could be. When you stop trying to be the light of the party, you allow your inner lantern to guide you. When you stop forcing your optimism, your authentic hope emerges. When you stop faking freedom, your true liberation, which includes the freedom to be sad, reveals itself as far more powerful than any flight. The answer you seek isn't in the next country or the next book. It lies in the courage to stop living as the caricature people expect and start living as the complex soul you are. It lies in the willingness to be too heavy for some people so you don't crush yourself. In the coming months, you'll learn the difference between blind optimism and grounded faith. Blind optimism ignores reality and eventually shatters. Grounded faith sees the darkness and knows the light is still there, without having to force it. You'll discover that you've always had access to this second form of faith, but we're too busy performing the first. You'll also learn that there's a profound difference between teaching and preaching. Teaching comes from shared experience and vulnerability. Preaching comes from a need to be right and to hide one's own flaws. You are ready to be a true teacher now, one who teaches by being real, not by being perfect. Sagittarius, during this transformation, remember that you're not becoming a pessimist. You're becoming a realist who still believes in magic. You're learning that truly loving life means loving all of it, even the parts that aren't fun. That being truly wise includes knowing when you know nothing. Your Sagittarius energy, when used consciously, has the power to expand minds and open hearts. When wasted on unnecessary performances of happiness, it becomes a shallow distraction. The last 3 days of November offer you the chance to reconnect with the conscious use of this magnificent energy that is your hallmark when lived authentically. The last 3 days of November, your soul is preparing to land. Your exhaustion is about to transform into deep rest. And you're about to discover that the truth you've been searching the world for has been waiting inside you all along. You just needed to stand still long enough to find it. When those days come, allow yourself to experiment with small acts of self-honesty. Tell the truth about how you feel, even if it's not positive. Choose to stay home if that's what your body needs. Practice the revolutionary art of saying, "I don't know," and "I'm not okay right now." Remember, your fatigue isn't a lack of spirit. It's a call to depth. It's your internal system functioning perfectly, alerting you that you cannot run forever. It's your archer spirit refusing to shoot arrows at targets that don't matter anymore. Honor this fatigue as the teacher it has been, and prepare to discover the infinite energy that exists when you stop pretending and start being. If this message touched something real within you, if you recognized your own weariness in the words I shared, that's no coincidence. It's confirmation that you're ready for this change, for this reconnection with your authentic truth. Share in the comments your willingness to honor your own exhaustion as a teacher rather than a failure of optimism. Your courage in recognizing that you need to live differently may inspire other Sagittarians to also drop the mask of the happy wanderer and prioritize their well-being. Subscribe to the channel, because your transformation from exhaustion to authentic wisdom is a process that deserves ongoing support. You'll need regular reminders to continue prioritizing your truth over the crowd's entertainment. And validation, to trust that your stillness is just as valuable as your movement. Your fatigue was a sign. The last 3 days of November bring the answer. And that answer is simply this: you deserve to live a life that is true rather than just fun, that is deep rather than just wide, and that honors who you truly are rather than performing for who others wish you to be.